So where standeth the Lifeboat? Well, there's many things that have been revealed about Brett. This is probably one of those smaller things. I didn't even notice this detail, but it's worth getting into. And I want to stress, very beginning, I've done research into many topics, including psychology. However, I am not professional licensed psychologist at this point. This is purely opinion and speculative in terms of why does Brett, Tommy Scoville, keep going back to P. Diddy? Well, the obvious reasons is the money, right? I've already covered this in other videos. I don't want to repeat myself or feel like I'm grifting you guys, but the basic gist in the older videos is that the channel views for the P. Diddy things were pretty strong. It varied. It jumped around 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, sometimes 10,000, which for a channel of that size, back then it was well over 25,000, like pretty clear 26,000, probably closing in on 30,000. And he's had a massive drop after his ex-girlfriend, alleged ex-girlfriend, Marissa, played a long audio file where he bragged about conning women and all kinds of criminal activities and just being an overall kind of scumbag. So Brett, aka Tommy Scoville, has been lying for months and months to his own subscribers and followers, saying that, oh, it was not edited properly. He looks worse than he really is, yada yada. He really didn't deny the contents. He did admit saying, yeah, I said some pretty terrible things, but we're going to move on. And he just stayed away from the P. Diddy material for months and months. But now the P. Diddy trial is here, and deciding to get back into the commentary. And guess what? At least some of the subscribers who are left behind are going to give him another chance, and they're eating it up. It's not at where he was before. So good or bad, and again, I don't want to brag here, but it's clear that me, Knife Order, Unrelatable, Reese, Subreddit, you go through the list. I'm going to have to give credit to Marilyn. I don't like Marilyn, but I have to give her credit. And collectively, other people's streams of justice. SOJ did a really great video. Sam, After the Bars. The list goes on and on. But collectively, we have, I think, have an impact of showing that it's not a guy you want to be around. It's a lie boat. Stay away from the lie boat. And thousands apparently agree and are keeping their distance or lurking in secret and only watching the videos here and there. But the P. Diddy material apparently is at least a big enough hit. Again, not the same numbers, but 1 to 2,000 for where he's at is pretty respectable. So the question is, why is he doing this? Especially given the nature of his own crimes, which included an underage victim, and literally crimes that are equivalent to P. Diddy. So let me just give a little more context with the P. Diddy trial. I'm not going to do the full thing here. I just want to give enough context. So essentially, Ventura, one of his ex-lovers, is testifying, and it's more explicit. We're getting more details about the settlement she had with P. Diddy because she came forward, and she could prove this because there's a hotel tape verifying her claims that P. Diddy was very, very toxic for years and years and years. So, what is going on? Why would Brett be treating a subject so close to his own criminality? Well, now we have some clues if you were paying attention to all the Brettologies and all his, well, evil. And again, I am not, again, I'll stress, not licensed professional. This is just my educated opinion based on my own reading of psychological literature. So when he was locked up, apparently he was diagnosed and he was considered, and again, this terminology is out of date now, it's changed. It's called psychosexual deviant personality disorder. However, it is now more widely considered paraphilic disorder. And there we go. And one of the key features is a kind of really intense fantasies around, and again, it's not just people, but inanimate objects, animals, children, and or non-consenting adults. And it's, yes, and of course it is about whatever, the act, but it is also about suffering and humiliation for the person and or partner. And there's also some other characteristics. Again, I'll be more explicit for channel members because obviously it's YouTube, I got to be careful. But the behaviors include voyeuristichism, frotteuristic disorder, I don't know what that is, and masochism as well, and fetishistic disorder, so on and so forth. So clearly, P. Diddy fits this a lot, right? So he had these, again, technically they're allegations, but now we're getting really stunning amounts of evidence. So I think we can say safely these things did happen. He had these weird, massive parties. And this is something that just reoccurs in the testimony and other accounts that, yes, of course, it is about his pleasure, but he just seemed to like hitting people, humiliating them, dominating them. And again, you can see that clearly in the hotel video. There's now a larger version. And I wondered about this for a long time. Apparently, yes, security did come to him. Because you're wondering, how in the world is he doing this? Are people not seeing this? And the answer is yes. He tried to bribe the security guard who came in and to check on him. But they did cover it up, so that's not good. But good on the security guy. He's like, no, I'm not going to take the bribe. So he tried to actively cover up what happened in the hotel. But this has been a thing with P. Diddy even in the late 90s, right? Even before all these victims came out, this was a fact. So this I don't need to say alleged. He had a full out fight with some music producer because he got really angry, which sounds ironic. I know it's hard to believe. He was portrayed in a certain way in a music video. I'll even say what the video. It's a Nas video. I remember this video. I don't remember them changing it, but I do remember P Diddy being in that video. It's like, oh yeah, they did a certain thing. So anyway, he got really upset. He just beat the guy up, and it was so explicit he couldn't get out of it. So he had to admit, yeah, I did it. So this guy just does seem to have a recurrent pattern of these fantasies and being very violent. And we're talking about P Diddy. Now let's switch to Brett. So it seems what's happening is Brett can kind of have it both ways. So on camera, he's like, "Oh God, P Diddy, the evil, oh, all the evil, all the women and the children." But inside, he's like, "Ugh, ugh, interesting stuff, interesting stuff." So it's kind of like a double grift, right? So he's grifting, just covering these P Diddy crimes when it's like, bro, you literally committed some of these P Diddy crimes. It's just pure hypocrisy. But from another angle, it's not hypocrisy. He can live through the fantasies through these P. Diddy accounts. So of course, like I think like most the vast majority of normal people, you're kind of horrified and shocked at the level of violence and coercion and just the insanity of what P. Diddy was doing for decades. And yeah, we knew a little bit here and there. He clearly was, by mildly, very violent over time. But I don't think anybody even could guess how coercive the guy was in private. But in any case, so I think most people are normal people are horrified. That may not be really his real attitude. It could be inside. He's like, good stuff. Interesting. Interesting. So for him, he's not really horrified at all. This is all very pleasurable. To a certain extent, he's addicted to this stuff. So yeah, so it seems like, in one sense, he's actually not guilty of hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is him condemning P. Diddy. Clearly, he doesn't really believe that. I mean, obviously, we know his private thoughts and emotions, what the long con video revealed. He has a lot of admiration for criminality. He likes being a criminal. He went through the whole intricacies of the con and being a long con and how you trick all these people. And one section there is really revealing and ties into the P. Diddy thing that he went into a lot of detail saying, and Marissa, good on her, did challenge him. She was like, wait, why so many women? Why the women? Oh, the women, see, the women, they feel humiliated. They're not going to talk. They're just going to go away. The men, they may get angry. They may fight back. And, I'm a coward. I don't want to fight with a man. So he is outright admitting that he deliberately goes after women. Now, to be fair, all age groups, he doesn't discriminate because they're women, whereas men may push back, and he's scared about that. He says, no, I don't want to do that. He has done it, though. He has had male victims, too, so let's not get it twisted. And that is true of P. Diddy, right? His victims range. It's not just men, it's not just women. He has all kinds of victims. So, to be fair to Brett for at least 1 minute, yes, most of his victims have been women, but he will con anyone, but he prefers to con, dominate, coerce women. That's a specialty, right? So, again, I'm not an expert here, so I got to be very careful just giving my own speculative opinion, because with P. Diddy, he does seem to go back and forth, right? Whether you like it or not, it does seem like there's no real preference for humiliating women. What he did with Ventura is disturbing on many levels. I agree with the condemnations, but that's a little distorted. There just doesn't seem to be a preference with him. Boy, girl, man, woman, he doesn't care. If you're just around him, he wants to dominate you, and he'll try to humiliate you. There's even this weird thing. It is real, guys. This is a real concert. He was like touching Jay-Z in a weird way, and 50 Cent noticed because he was on stage and like, "What are you doing?" He tried to get away from P. Diddy. So this is a guy who cannot control himself around anyone. He will full on victimize you if you're just in his vicinity. Brett is a little bit more specific. He will target women more than men. Make of that what you will. I guess there a more precise pathology about this preference for victimizing women over just someone who just likes to dominate all kinds of people. I don't know. You make of it what you will. But there clearly is something wrong with these people mentally. Whether they should be given leniency or not, again, I am not giving an argument. I'm just saying if you want to have some leniency or not. But if you don't, at least we want to understand where it comes from. And so apparently it is rooted in some pathologies that even comes in as early as puberty. So make of that what you will. Is P. Diddy a Brett? In a way, yes, but in a way, no. And is Brett a Diddy himself? Kind of yes, kind of no. And there we are. But there definitely is a massive disturbing overlap between Diddy and Brett and their shared, obsessions with humiliating, conning people, and then blaming what they themselves did on others and trying to get away with it. And just blaming everything on, oh, there's just hatred. Oh, there's hatred online. Oh my, the Me Too. Yeah, this is a very big pattern that these people kind of share together. So it seems. In my opinion, not professional opinion, just my opinion. Thank you for listening.